Welcome back to Nonprofit Live TV. I'm Thomas Aitchison, and we're coming to you from Convio Summit 2010, held this year in Baltimore, Maryland. Our subject in this segment is integrated marketing, and here to share their insights on the topic are Sara Spivey, Chief Marketing Officer with Convio, and Dave Hart, Chief Technology Officer with Convio. Thanks so much for being here. Sara, I'm going to start with you. Yesterday here at the summit, there were more than 60 nonprofit executives in a session that Convio held discussing the main topic of which was integrated marketing. So from those discussions, what were some of the main points that you heard and the main themes that nonprofits need to be aware of this subject that's growing in importance?
Well, I think it was pretty clear everybody sees it as a key differentiator and something that's going to be critical to their success going forward. I think they also recognize that everybody's a neophyte, so lots more to do. And I think some of the key challenges we discussed in the room were kind of what was holding them back from doing more. And one of the ones that became quite obvious to the discussion was kind of this idea of our organizations and how we're sort of siloed keeps us from integrating more easily, and that we've got to figure out how to work across organizations more effectively or collapse those silos if we truly want to take the next leap. I think there are a lot of tools in place, and I think everybody agrees that there's certainly value in all those tools. Getting them to work together is the challenge, and some of that I think is delayed by these organizational issues.
And playing off the theme of the summit itself, we're talking about no boundaries. Knock down the siloed walls to create not limitations but opportunities, I believe, with your data.
Yep, absolutely.
Would you say that nonprofits, are they in the process of embracing this concept and understand the impact that having an integrated approach can really have in their organization, or is there a lot of education that still needs to happen?
I think everybody, I contrast kind of where we were at this conference last year, and I'm really impressed by how far we've come in just a year in terms of how many more people understand it, want to do it, are trying to figure out what the best path to that is. But I'm also always struck by how far we have to go. And I think yesterday there was kind of a division in the room between, wow, we're really making some progress, and wow, we've got a long, long way.
Sure. Dave, from a technology perspective, what kinds of things do nonprofits need to be aware of so that if they really want to have an integrated approach at their organization and have an overall holistic view of the data across their organization, what do they need to keep in mind?
Well, I think that what we see as the oversimplified view of it is I need to get the data all in one place. But the reality is that you need the appropriate tool to access the data, that accessing data across the internet makes a lot of sense in certain cases, that the view of the data that you need for a campaign-based direct mail is dramatically different than what a major gift officer needs for one-to-one relationship management. So we think it's about having access to all the data, but using the right tools and the right technology for the business problem that you're trying to solve. And there isn't a one-size-fits-all.
Talk a little more about the hurdles and challenges as it relates to integration for nonprofits, and importantly, as part of that, how does Convio go about from a technology strategy in addressing those challenges?
Well, integration is definitely difficult. It's something, frankly, that we had our challenges with ourselves. We're really looking at new technologies to help solve this, to deal with data flowing back and forth between multiple systems. We call it a service bus architecture that will dramatically improve that. We also think our open platform does a lot for solving the data integration problems. That we can see people take action on social networking sites, on any third-party website, and feed that information into the Convio database, and then we can then transfer that information into the database of record and on into the data warehouse for analytic purposes. So I think that open is a big part of the strategy for integration.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Sara, as Chief Marketing Officer, you have a unique perspective on this because prior to Convio, you came from the technology industry, where standards are fairly common as it relates to integration. So as we enter 2011, what do nonprofits, in your opinion, need to be demanding from their vendors so that they are best positioned to have a truly integrated strategy with regards to data across their organization, and so they're not held captive by their technology?
Yeah. It's a big issue in this sector, and one certainly that I didn't really have an appreciation for coming in. I mean, you mentioned in other technology industries, it's very common. It's also expected. customers won't stand for not having interoperability, and yet in the nonprofit sector, people don't seem to be as demanding of that. So I would tell clients and customers, you've got to be expecting more from your vendors, and particularly where we operate in an ecosystem, we're very pro-choice. We want people to be able to buy best of breed. And to do that, you've got to have a lot of partners and a sort of a spirit of co-opetition such that competitors can work together. And we really need our customers to start demanding it. They shouldn't accept from anybody, well, if you really want it to work, it has to work with our stuff. That should just not be acceptable. So, we need customers to step up a little bit in terms of being a little bit more demanding with the vendors they use. And making it an expectation, and then it will become more common. But it's a challenge.
Got it. Great. Sara, Dave, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And for sharing your perspectives and insight. And thank you for joining us here. You can catch this discussion and plenty others anytime online at nonprofitlive.tv. I'm Thomas Aitchison. Thanks for watching.